Hello, everybody. It's MLB Tonight, along with Ron Darling. I'm Matt Yaloff. And Ronnie, look at the guys who are out there throwing. Mackenzie Gore on the mound. Logan Webb doing his, what do you call that, jumping jacks? Do they still call it that?
Jack LaLanne started that, you know.
Yes, he did. And it lives on. Shane Bieber as well. With Cleveland, he was hurt last year, a lot of it anyway. So here we are inside Studio K. How are you doing, my friend?
So good. Think about it. It's kind of an anniversary for you and I. First time I ever appeared on show was with you 20 years ago. So way to go, my man.
Isn't that
nice.
Amazing?
Great.
And it was not here. It was elsewhere. But let's talk about Shohei Ohtani, because he's more important than my debut with you. Shohei Ohtani arriving in camp with L.A. and throwing 92 to 94 off the mound after 2 surgeries, elbow and shoulder. What do you think?
You know, the key is you're really watching to see if your pitcher is throwing free and easy. I think that's the biggest thing. A 92 to 94 is beautiful because he's a guy that throws 100 miles an hour. The one thing that you look at is mechanics nice? Is it free and easy? And he looked beautiful for a pitcher who's probably not going to pitch till May.
Let me ask you this. As far as the velocity, do we care?
We care in this way. I would not want my pitchers to be close to their max on February 15th, 16th, whatever date you're going to have. I want them, you know, at 75% or 3/4 or whatever. I think that's the key. I'm looking more at the mechanics of the pitcher, because the problem you have is you really want to 3/4 it, but the adrenaline starts. It's your first time on a mound in a long, long time. A lot of people are watching you. The Rapsodo and Trackman are on. So sometimes the adrenaline gets the best of you.
A lot of people watching him, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's incredible. And, you know, the Dodgers, who isn't on the Dodgers right now, but they have just a list of pitching, and it goes deep. But Andrew Friedman says that it's going to be a 5-man rotation to begin the year. Sonia Chen, with this tweet, the Dodgers will go with a 5-man rotation until Ohtani is ready to start games. That means they won't be down to a bullpen arm. They won't be down a bullpen arm to begin the season. It'll also open some competition for the 5th spot in that rotation. So they have so many guys who can pitch, but they're not all 100% healthy.
Well, one of the things you're going to see is a 6-man rotation used by a lot of clubs. Now, Andrew's right there. They can use a 5-man rotation in April. It's a lot of days off. You can work around certain guys. So everyone will probably get close to an extra day during that first month till Ohtani gets back. When he's back, it'll be a 6-man rotation. You'll see that throughout baseball. The Mets have also announced that they're going to do that as well. So,
so do you see like a little bit of a internal competition between some of the guys on this list for number 5?
A big competition, because that's the only spot you have. It's so talented on this staff that guys like Gonsolin and May and Miller and Landon Knack, who got pitched some big innings last year, they all are going to be trying to fight for that position. Gonsolin, really probably one of the best, you know, guys to get it done. He's a guy that might not have A+ stuff, but he gets it done. Bobby Miller, A+ stuff. Dustin May, we've always expected him to be one of the best pitchers in the game.
And they add Suzaki, so that takes away another opening.
That's right.
Because he has one. You don't pay a guy that kind of money and not pitch him. So now the question, if you follow it, is, okay, now you have extra guys. Are you sending them to the minors to pitch, or are they now part of your pen?
We didn't even mention Clayton Kershaw, right? No, they could be part of your pen, especially early on where guys are going maybe 5 innings instead of 6+. That's part of it. But it's all about depth now, Matt. You listen to every organization. They're all about, they're expecting injury. They're expecting to give a guy an extra day. They bring up an extra pitcher. The depth you have in your starting rotation is tantamount to you having a good season. Well,
we know they had a good season last year, and they expect to have an historic season this year. They did sign somebody else. I mean, big surprise. L.A. is picking up people. I feel like it's Monopoly, where you buy houses.
That's right.
You buy property. Eddie Rosario, he's a good player. He's a good player. I don't want to call him a role player. He's a good part-time player. He very valuable to the Braves a couple of years ago.
Well, when they won the World Series, he was probably one of the most important pieces, right? Had a National League Championship Series to behold. That being said, he's coming off a real tough year. Did not perform well. But for the Dodgers, a depth, they can put him down in AAA or wherever until maybe they sustain an injury to one of their better players. If they do, then Eddie Rosario's a pro and can come up and give you some good at-bats.
All right, so that's one big story. Here's another one for you. And
back here on MLB Tonight, there's Juan Soto. How does he look in a Mets? Oh, not a Mets uniform, but Mets garb. Looks pretty good. That bat is big. He's ready to go. But can there be more to his game than just that bat? Here he is today.
It's been great. You know, first day for me. When I started looking around the roster and everything, we have a lot of Latin players. I wasn't realizing that, and right when I go here, I was like, oh, we actually have a really good Latin community in here, and it's exciting. You know. A lot of guys that we know where we come from and how many things we got to go through, and now we are here in the biggest stage. I think it's really cool to see it. So for us, it was a really warm welcome, and I'm happy to be here. Every aspect of my game, definitely the running part, it's huge for me. So I had to be better base running and keep improving my defense. Like I said, every year, you know, it's been so close. For that Gold Glove, so I try to be better every day, every year, so I can get closer and closer to that.
All right, that's interesting. And by the way, if you're like Ronnie and myself, we're mesmerized by that hat. Mesmerized by that hat. So that's new. That's their spring training hat.
Yes, very nice.
That's a good hat.
Yeah,
like I don't like gimmicky stuff, but I do like that.
I'll get one for you.
Yeah, thank you. Right, you'll be down there soon enough. It is interesting because look, Juan Soto just signed a 15-year deal for $765 million. And I think what we saw, and he's addressing something specific. He's going to be age 26 coming up. But it's not like he's a bad defensive player, but he's not good. And we saw it in the World Series where singles become doubles, doubles become triples. He's also near -4 in base running runs. He's not good on the bases. Can he just address that and get better at those things? Or are those things you're usually either good at or they're young man skills and it deteriorates as you get older?
No, it's something that I think, you know, if he spent as much time on his base running and his fielding as he did on his hitting, he certainly would be a much better player in those two regards. Remember, in the postseason last year, he threw a guy out at the plate. It's in there. I saw him as a young player. I've seen him make outstanding defensive plays, but I think also I've seen him take some plays off. And that's something that you would hope that he wouldn't do in the field or on the bases. Antoine Richardson is the coach for the Mets that's in charge of those two categories. I think he's a brilliant coach, and I think he'll really help him in those regards.
He has to get baseball-y, right?
Yeah.
They call it baseball. His awareness of, like, hitting the cutoff or, knowing how many outs there are every single play. I remember after here's the defensive alignment for the Mets. They have Jose Siri now, who's a premier defender in center field that allows them to move Brendan Nimmo out to left. Pete Alonso is back in the fold, so there he is at first base. But Soto, again, I saw him when the Nationals, remember, traded everybody around him. He was the last man standing, and he was busting his tail on every play. So that is in him as well. Can that be in you when you're fat and happy? Again, because he just signed the biggest contract domestically in the history of the game.
These traditionally, these great players are all about being great for a long period of time. So yes, I think that he is not going to succumb to being fat and happy with a big contract. He wants to be great. He wants to be a Hall of Fame player at some point, and this would help him not only become a Hall of Fame player, but also help him his first year in the clubhouse. I mean, Lindor plays the game at an incredibly high skill rate, plays the game right. That should rub off, or at least he has the gravitas to be able to talk to even a guy like Soto and say, hey, listen, this is kind of how we do it here. We'd like to see more of that from you.
Yeah, we saw in the World Series last year, like the difference between the Dodgers and the Yankees. It was that the baseball-y skills and cutting the difference between Betts in right field and Soto in right field. There was a huge difference. Here are the defensive metrics. And again, they're not, I don't know if they tell the whole story. I don't think they do. But you see through the years, consistently poor defensive metrics. Last year with the Yankees, though, all right, defensive run saved, 0. That's league average.
Yeah.
If he's league average, you're fine. If it's -1 fielding run value, that's the StatCast defensive metric. Again, you're about league average, then you're fine. But we know there's room for improvement there. So your thoughts long term, at least in this time period, for him defensively and on the bases and getting better at that?
Well, first, defensively, I've seen him at both corner positions. Early in his career, he was a left fielder with the Nationals. Then he's played some right field in the Nationals, then moved to left field with the Padres, and now back to right field once he became a Yankee. I think being at one place with the Mets from now on is going to really help his kind of ease and getting it done. And as far as the base running, he's not a speed burner, so that is not going to matter at all. But I think one of the things about base running, it doesn't matter your speed. You can be a base runner and be an average speed guy. Base running is all about, it's not about the hustle part of it, even though that's huge. It's the first to third. It's taking the extra base and the ball is overthrown the cutoff. It's all the really nuanced, smart things that certainly Juan Soto knows.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't point out all the bad stuff and didn't say, by the way, we were lauding Alex Bregman earlier for being a good at bat and Stanton in the playoffs being a good at bat. This is the best at bat in the majors. This is the premier at bat.
One of the best at bats I've seen in my broadcasting career.
They see the on base. Like he's got, you know how many guys had a 400 on base last year, Ronnie? 2. Judge and Soto.
Right.
And he has never been below 400 in a single season in his career. You also see here last year, like a 180 weighted runs created plus. So the on base, the power, the slugging is all there. Will that power, now again, I'm not necessarily saying it's short porch, but Citi Field, does his power play the same at Citi Field?
Plays bigger, and I'll tell you why. On the pull side, if he hits it, it's always gone. But the ball he hits to left center, which he has tremendous power that way. There were a lot of F7s and F8s last year at Yankee Stadium. That ball, which is 358 at Citi Field, will be in the it will be a home run easily. So I think it's going to play even bigger next year.
Because Petco did hurt him.
It did.
Like when
Certainly.
it went to Petco and you said, it doesn't play as much of a pitcher's park as it used to, but his home road splits were drastic.
Let's revisit in October how many home runs he had to left center at Citi Field. It'll be interesting to see. All right.
And you can get me one of those hats.
Yeah, I'll get you one of the hats.
I don't look good in a hat, but maybe you
got such great hair. So.
Thank you, Ron.
大谷翔平、ついにキャンプで投球開始、ドジャースの未来を担うエースの復活へ、メジャーリーグのスプリングキャンプが本格的にスタートし、各チームが新シーズンに向けた準備を進める中、今最も注目を集めているのがロサンゼルス、ドジャースのキャンプに参加した大谷翔平の動向だ。昨シーズン終了後、彼は右肘のトミー・ジョン手術と肩の手術を受け、今シーズンは打者に専念する予定とされていた。しかし、ついにブルペンに立ち、実戦さながらの投球を披露した。この日、大谷が投じた球は92、94マイルの速球。まだ調整段階にもかかわらず、これだけのスピードが出るということは、順調に回復している証拠だ。しかし、単に球速が出ているだけではない。投球フォームの滑らかさ、リリースのスムーズさ、そして何よりも、自由でスムーズに投げられているかが最も重要なポイントだった。そして、その全てが高いレベルで実現されていた。大谷がマウンドに立つと、ブルペンの周りにはチームメイトや関係者、さらにはメディアが集まり、彼の一挙手一投足に注目した。それもそのはず。彼の復帰はドジャースのシーズンを左右する一大ニュースなのだ。大谷翔平という多大一無二の存在。大谷翔平がただのスター選手ではないことは、誰もが知っている。二刀流という常識破りのスタイルを確立し、2021年には、リーグ MVP を獲得。そして昨シーズンは、投打の両方でメジャーを席巻しながら、再び MVP の座に輝いた。しかし、彼の凄さは単なる数字の話ではない。彼の存在自体がメジャーリーグの歴史を塗り替え、新たな時代を作り出しているのだ。これまで、投手か打者のどちらかを選ぶべき、と言われ続けた MLB において、彼はその固定観念を打ち破り、誰もが不可能だと思っていた道を切り開いた。そして、今シーズンはまた新たな挑戦が待っている。肘の手術を受けた影響で、開幕当初は投手としてプレーすることはできないが、すでに打撃練習では圧倒的なパワーを見せており、ブルペンでの投球でもその存在感を発揮している。これが大谷翔平という男の底知れぬポテンシャルだ。ドジャースのローテーションはどうなるのか。現在のドジャースは、まず5人ローテーションで開幕し、大谷が投手として復帰するタイミングを見極める方針だ。そのため、現在のキャンプでは5番目の先発投手の座をめぐる熾烈な争いが繰り広げられている。候補として挙がっているのは、トニー、ゴンソリン、ダスティン、メイ、ボビー、ミラー、ランドン、ナックといった実力派投手たちだ。ゴンソリンは過去に安定したピッチングを見せており、球団内でも信頼が厚い。しかし、昨シーズンの故障の影響がどれだけ残っているかが鍵となる。ボビー、ミラーは昨年のシーズン終盤に印象的なパフォーマンスを見せ、速球とスライダーのコンビネーションが魅力の投手。ダスティン、メイは怪我さえ克服すれば、リーグトップクラスの実力を持つ投手として期待されている。さらに、 新加入の山本由伸も開幕ローテーション入りが確実視されている。彼がメジャーの環境にどれだけ早く適応できるかが、ドジャースのシーズン序盤の戦いを左右するポイントになるだろう。ドジャースが目指す未来。今オフのドジャースは、大谷翔平、山本由伸を筆頭に、積極的な補強を行い、史上最強レベルのチームを作り上げた。投手陣だけでなく、野手陣も超一流の選手が揃い、シーズンを通して圧倒的な戦力を維持することができるだろう。さらに、新たに獲得したエディ・ロザリオも、2021年のワールドシリーズ MVP 級の活躍を見せた選手。昨シーズンは不調に終わったが、ドジャースの環境で復活すれば、重要な戦力になり得る。今シーズン、ドジャースが目指すのはただ一つ、ワールドシリーズ制覇だ。そして、その中心にいるのは間違いなく大谷翔平。開幕からしばらくは打者に専念する形になるが、彼が本来の姿を取り戻したとき、ドジャースの戦力は飛躍的に向上する。彼の存在は、チームの士気を高め、ファンを魅了し、メジャーリーグ全体の注目を集める。それほどまでに、彼は今の野球界において特別な存在なのだ。そして、大谷翔平が完全復活する日、ドジャースはさらに強くなり、誰もが恐れるチームへと進化する。開幕が待ち遠しい。開幕まであと少し。大谷翔平が投手として復帰する日は、世界中のファンが待ち望む瞬間だ。そして、その日が来た時、彼はまた新たな歴史を刻むことだろう。皆さんは、大谷翔平の復帰をどのように予想していますか？また、今シーズンのドジャースのローテーションについてどう思いますか？ぜひコメント欄で意見を聞かせてください。もしまだチャンネル登録をしていない方は、今すぐ登録して、ドジャースの最新情報を見逃さないようにしましょう。これからも一緒にドジャースを応援していきましょう。